PodOutatNight. Mostly, I'm in Graveyard, joined by my host, Salem.
Hello.
This is episode 194 of our weekly All Things Horror podcast. And tonight, we finally get to see who we go home with. Do we ever, get that answer? I don't think we do in any of these movies as we continue our Prom Night series, and we get to say goodbye to it.
Well, I don't think that question is even asked in these two.
I think it was in number 4. Definitely not the remake.
I know it was in the first 3. I'm pretty sure the fourth one wasn't there because the fourth one, there isn't really prom.
No. Hey, but you know what? The 2008 one, which I will not call a remake because it doesn't follow the same storyline in the least bit.
No,
it's
not at
actually all on prom.
Right. It's like the complete opposite of the first one. The first one is like, over an hour of fucking fluff before we even get there. And this one is like literally there's zero fluff. And like it takes like 5 minutes.
Correct. And then we, of course, will be venting our rage with Carrie 2.
These are also out of chronological order, just so you know.
I know. We're finishing up the Prom Night franchise, though.
Well, right. First and foremost. I was going to say, I was prepared to do the second one, which you have marked 3rd.
Yes. Yeah, because we realized was doing our Carrie stuff. We might as well do I would almost call unnecessary sequel of The Rage, Carrie 2, which, there's no Carrie in it.
They say her name a couple times.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. But yes, we'll start off with Prom Night 4, Deliver Us from Evil. And we also cut back to the same freaking high school, the same prom night, 1957. And a young couple that wasn't getting, watching their prom queen just get burned alive by a stink bomb was fornicating in the car. And then the priest comes, lights some candles, and kills him. And then gets sedated for 30 years.
Well, the church has their own justice, supposedly.
Yeah, and they think because he's I guess the priest is kind of showing stigmata and is flogging himself and is just doing all this stuff. They're yeah, he's evil. Okay.
We'll talk about that. There's a whole lot of weird stuff with that, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Fast forward to still about 30-ish years later, so we're still maybe 1987 is my best guess, even though it's clearly the 90s. Wouldn't you say that we all fast forward to 30 years? Because I think 2 and 3 were all that as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, based on fashion and hair, I would say it's in the early 90s.
Yeah, but kind of all this is going on here. We're introduced to another couple that is having sex on the church grounds. They get in trouble, and then one of their classmates, I guess, or someone that they kind of know, maybe doesn't really tie into the story a whole lot, is becoming went through seminary school, is supposed to be deployed to Africa or somewhere. Is yeah, no, you now need to watch this Father Jonas and make sure that he's sedated and clean shaven. Right? That's very, very important. Yeah, this priest has been, put in sedation for 30 plus years, which is interesting because he essentially, the new priest is yeah, I don't really want to do that, and he wakes up and is able to, function pretty well.
When he first shows him the priest, he has a full beard and long hair. They're not shaving him. It's when the dude takes over, the young guy takes over, that he gives him a haircut and shaves his beard. So the old school is content with just leaving him rot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the new guy is I guess feels bad for him and shaves him and everything, and then just stops giving him meds.
Yeah, and then he wakes up and is absolutely fine, essentially being in a medically induced coma for 30 years.
Well, right. He wakes up exactly where he was.
Yeah.
Right.
And then kills the priest, and the rest of the congregation is instead of saying this guy escaped, he committed suicide. I'm pretty sure they're Catholic, and that's the biggest cardinal sin they can commit. That's a weird stance to take for him.
Well, also, like you would have to explain that you've been keeping a murderer in your basement dungeon for 30 years.
Yeah.
What's a harder conversation to have?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but yeah, essentially that priest that doesn't look like he's 30 years older, in my opinion, is running about, and we introduced to essentially just two couples and one of the guy's kid brother, which doesn't not a whole lot happens. They're prepping for the stuff thing. They get all dressed up to go to prom, and then they don't go to prom. They instead go to someone's summer house that I had to do I believe they said is over 2 hours away by limo. Now, if that's really the case, I have a big issue with how the brother gets there in a relatively fast amount of time. Yeah, they get to the summer house. That's like the old seminary. I think was it alluded to that it was where that priest that was sedated for 30 years was like from.
Yeah. Okay. When he kills the kids in the beginning,
yeah,
with that crucifix thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he is then praying like inside of the quote unquote cave with the crucifix on the wall when he's flagellating himself.
Yeah.
That is in this seminary. Because when he, like, again, with fast forwarding a bit, when he finds the hidden thing in the basement, like with the old timey rock walls and stuff, that's where he finds that cave area that he was in before. So when they sold it or whatever and to private ownership, they just kind of walled off that area. I don't know why they wouldn't just like fill it in with concrete or like knock it down, but they just put up a plywood wall essentially.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, it's a horror movie. That's how things are fixed in horror movies.
Yeah. So essentially he's kind of like follows them back, and they get to this old summer house. Like, yeah, cool. My parents have been here for a while. It's for the winter. And like they smell something wrong, and like all the appliances and TVs were stolen, but all the meat in the freezer that was there, that's probably worth hundreds as well, was just left out to spoil.
Yeah. I mean, who does that?
Who easily steals a freezer?
Well, one, if you're going to steal a fucking freezer, you open it up and it's full of like hundreds of pounds of meat. Who the fuck is going to go through the process of emptying it all out,
right,
and then unplugging it and taking nobody's going to fucking, where are you going to sell that freezer?
Right. Yeah.
Where are you going to sell the fridge? Where are you going to sell a stove? People don't steal those things. They steal things they can pawn off, which is like TV, stereo. Yeah. Like electronics, stuff like that. They're not going to steal a fucking fridge.
Yeah. And with like, I say about a half cow worth of meat.
Well, yeah, but also they'd have to like pull up with like a giant U-Haul.
Yeah.
And like have like appliance moving dollies and straps and shit. Like, who the fuck would plan that out to steal a fridge and a freezer? You ain't making that much money. If you got to rent a U-Haul and shit, you ain't like, that math doesn't work.
Correct. And I'll say this now too. Leaves the very expensive wine and clearly doesn't bother checking the very apparent locked briefcase or like chest there. They're like, if this is locked, something must be valuable in there. No, they can move a freezer, but not that chest. I don't.
It is the weird thing is that like I'm trying to figure out like what is the story reason for these appliances being stolen, and there isn't one. It's like, why is there a weird point and like, I don't know, at least 10 minutes of story time taken up discussing this appliance theft and like the girls deciding to make the dinner, but instead, because they don't have a stove even, so they have to make it on a fireplace.
Yep.
Like, but there's no reason for that. Like, if the appliances were all there, it would have happened exactly the same way. He doesn't call the police. He doesn't tell his parents. There's literally no reason to do it. I was like, why is this taking up space? I bet at some point there was a reason why.
The probably the real reason is wherever they rented to film this didn't have appliances, and so they had to explain why there's no appliances in this list.
Say we're gonna cook dinner and then bring in the dinner. You don't have to see it being cooked.
Correct.
It's just there's no reason why you say, oh, we don't have a fridge. Like, why? What's the purpose of that? You still have wine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no reason that you still drink champagne.
Yep.
There's no reason to not have appliances. It's not like they show the appliances. They show the kitchen. They don't show a hole where an appliance was.
Nope.
They just like film in the kitchen at an angle where you can't see appliances. Like, okay, what?
Yep.
Why? I was so lost, like trying to figure. So like as the movie goes along, I'm like waiting for something to pop up, being like, oh, there's a reason why the appliances aren't there, or maybe the killer moved them because he's like a Luddite or something. But
nope.
no.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, you're right. It's completely bizarre. So anyway, this is kind of going on. The two couples kind of pair off. One gets the couch. I assume there's many more rooms than one in this place.
You'd assume, with how huge that place was, there's more than one bedroom. Yeah.
Right. Like, go get another bedroom. Anyway, the other couple of bones. The younger brother somehow pedals his way over there from 2 hours and starts spying on him. Then the priest shows up and kills him. And this other lunatic priest is also then calling the house and making like obscene phone calls, which is weird.
Okay, here's another. I'm sorry, I was going to talk about these things later on, but since you're bringing them up now, he specifically says, "This is my parents' summer house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a secret. No one else should know that we're here."
Mm-hmm.
Phone rings.
Answer it.
Random girl who doesn't live there and has no reason to answer the phone. Hello.
Yep.
What the like? What if the parents were calling? Now there's some person that they don't know, and then they're gonna go there and see all their shit stolen, and now you're gonna get blamed for stealing. Like, I'm like, what is the logic of you answering the phone? I understand you wanted to have like a creepy call or whatever, but we don't live. This isn't the age of cell phones yet. So like, she's gonna answer the house phone? What are you, nuts?
Well, it's just not to side too much, but it goes into the thinking of like people like my phone's ringing, I have to answer it. No, you don't. You don't have to. Sorry.
Right. Like your doorbell rings, you don't have to answer.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
We still live in that age, unfortunately.
Right. Like your doorbell rings, now we have doorbell cameras, so it's easier. You don't have to look through the peephole. You can just look at the camera and be like, I don't know who that is.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not answering the door. And that's okay.
Yeah. I said,
you can always do that.
I've never felt the urge while somewhere else to answer the phone.
No. I don't even want to answer my own phone.
Right. But yeah, so anyway, that happens. The priest, kills the one girl and like scalps her, and then like somehow lures like the boyfriend up the attic, and he's like wearing her scalp, and then like kills him by just crushing him.
Right. We'll talk about this again later, but this is like a completely bizarre scene that does not fit with the rest of the movie at all.
No.
At all. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this? Like, is this something going to change? No. It goes back to what it should be right after this scene, but for some reason that scene is so bizarrely out of place.
Yep.
Whatever, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, anyway, so they're trying to figure out where they all went. I show you special place. Like the other girl cuts her feet badly, I would say, in breaking the wine bottle, and yeah, like, oh, it's cool. I have a huge gash on my foot. Let's do it, but like no one's appearing. Anyway, eventually they kind of find and go outside looking for them, and all of a sudden, two people on crucifixes, and they burst into flames and get roasted. Dead, but still roasted. Like, oh, that's not good. So, let's go back into the house, try to find my dad's gun that I can just break the lock open with a hammer, get a gun, barely know how to load it, and then like climb on the roof to get away from the guy because he tells Megan to run. She runs, and like he gets on the roof, and then the priest is like stabbing through the roof with his sword spear.
It's a stabby crucifix.
Yeah, and essentially then the other boyfriend that's on the roof gets stabbed multiple times, falls off, and dies. I guess he's not moving, so I'm assuming he's dead.
Well, yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't make an appearance for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, the girl gets the gun and shoots the guy, and kind of like then starts praying for some reason after shooting him, which she also became religious, which is weird. And then he kind of comes back, and she like sets everything on fire, and the building that the priest is in, as she sets them on fire and stabs him, blows up, and he's barely burned surviving this somehow, because she's taken away in the ambulance, he's taken away in the ambulance, and their eyes open seemingly at the same time, implying something. They're now linked, that this priest is supernatural. I don't know where they're trying to go with this, other than I said, I think someone watched The Exorcist 3 and looked at Brad Dourif and goes, you know what? Let's do that. But poorly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And I'm also not sure why they decided this was a prom night. This is very clearly a Hellraiser situation.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a prom night film. It has nothing to do with prom night. They had to introduce a scene to loosely tie it to prom night.
Yep.
That's it. That's the only connection.
Yep.
And it's literally, the scene is they get dressed up, they go in a limo, they go to the prom, and then like moon everybody at the prom and then just go to this place. Like they just skip the prom completely, even though they got all dressed up for it and got the limo for it and everything.
They got all dressed up in a limo, and no one knows that they were dressed up, so why dress up?
Right. Like, I don't... Again, it doesn't make any sense. It's a very clearly Hellraiser syndrome situation. This movie was not written to be a prom night film, and they had to put that scene in to even tie it together.
Yeah. I had never seen this one. I know you definitely have not.
No.
But yeah, I can see why they didn't make number 5.
Well, I mean, when you got 4, again, now this is the 4th one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the ties between them are very, very few.
Yes.
Right? The first one and the second one have like no tie at all.
Mm-hmm.
The second one and the third one have the tie of like, okay, 57 happened, Mary Lou happened, but the whole rest of the film is totally different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, right, so then the third one is yeah, like I said, so the third one and the fourth one have zero ties. The only tie is that there's a prom in the beginning at 1957, but Mary Lou is not mentioned.
Nope.
In any way whatsoever. It's just that a murder happened at the 1957 prom. That's it.
Yep.
That's the only tie. Mm-hmm. And so the fifth one, I don't know. We'd have to watch. What was it?
The Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have to watch The Club to see how loosely that would be.
Probably not any different than this one.
Yeah. Again, it's like they just slapped the Prom Night name on something. Like, Prom Night is not that big of a franchise.
No.
I don't know why you would need to like force entries into a franchise that nobody cares about. But.
Correct. Maybe that's the only way they can sell it and got it made in Canada. So
I don't know.
Maybe number 3 was the rage in Canada in 1989. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible, right?
Well, it was released in theaters in Canada.
Right. So maybe that was huge for them.
Possible.
And so, all right. Why don't you go first with your highlights?
Okay. So, Prom Night 4. Again, like, how many bad things happened at the 1957 prom?
All the things.
Like, it's like there's all of these horrible, like, multi-dimensional bad things that happen, and they all seem to converge on this 1957 prom, except for the first movie, funny enough, right? Which has nothing to do with 1957. But all these other movies have all like converged into this thing, but they're also like, multiple Earths after this point, because they're not mentioned. It's just they have this tying origin point. That's it. Again, like they keep a priest in a church dungeon rather than just giving him to the law. Like,
yep.
Why wouldn't you just give him to the law? I understand that the church likes to have their own level of justice, which is, I guess, the point I'm making is that they would rather put him in their own dungeon, completely drugged and blind to the world, than let him like actually get convicted in a real court and go to real prison.
Yep.
That's the church for you. I do like that it was a priest as the villain. That was fun. Laura, the character, was delightful. She was funny. She had all the best lines. I think her delivery was amazing. It was fantastic. Where the one girl was like, "Oh, let's cook the guy's dinner," and she's like, "Oh, how domestic," like
Yep.
making fun of her. Like, that's really what you want to do? You want to make them dinner? Anyway, I thought she was a great character. She was fun. She was also the first to die, which is unfortunate.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing that I enjoy about this movie is that the old priest kind of makes the suggestion that the priest villain guy is like possessed by dark forces, right?
Correct.
But he is following the law of the church,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
like he's only killing sinners, right? He has to witness them committing a sin, and then he kills them in punishment for that sin. So like he's not possessed by Satan. He's not possessed by a demon. He's thus possessed by like a fanatical zeal of being a priest. But then he also has like definitive supernatural powers.
Correct. He's Stigmata.
Right. He just like calls stigmata at will, can like
Yep.
bleed out of wounds, like, and basically at will. He does it multiple times. So he has like abilities that it would seemingly were gifted to him by God.
Yep.
To do these murders. So it's kind of like a frailty situation. Only like he took it one step further, right? He's like a crazed lunatic murderer instead of being a behind the scenes kind of taking care of business thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really saw it as like he's just doing the good Lord's will in his own way. But that's all I got.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, that is interesting. Like, do I like religious aspects? No. Do I like what they did here? He said the priest being the villain. Love it, Lord, of course, of that. And I was trying to figure out what the brother was watching. I'm pretty sure his Last House on the Left.
The people fighting each other?
Yeah.
Oh, there was two guys wearing Canadian tuxedos. I don't think that was Last House on the Left.
Maybe it's Canadian Last House on the Left.
Yeah, like I said, they were both wearing Canadian tuxedos, so I'm pretty sure it was a Canadian thing he was watching.
I'm surprised they just weren't watching the original.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was was like, it's gonna be one of them, but no, it wasn't.
Yeah, like I said, that's about it for my highlights, low points. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's trying to be an Exorcist 3 ripoff in some parts with that priest. Like saying, as you said, is he possessed by the devil? Like, I don't think demons and the devil would like have stigmata. Right.
And again, but yeah, he's not
it's
like
chosen.
Yeah, he's not doing there's no like satanic imagery. There's no like nothing like that. It's like he is doing it for the Lord.
Yeah.
Period. They're not twisting it. The only guy that thinks it's twisted is the old priest, because again, he's OG, church, and he doesn't want to believe that the church can be bad.
Right.
That's it.
Like I said, they made a point that they're so far out there, and it's a 2-hour drive to get there. Right? How did the brother get there if it's 2-hour drive? Like, I don't think he drove.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know how old he is. He could be 16. And the brother could be 18.
That's true. But I'm just saying, like, it's weird that just they brought the brother just to kill him. There was no purpose of him other than that.
They needed a kill earlier in the movie, but they didn't want to kill any of the characters yet.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, okay, we need somebody here to get killed that they don't know about, so they don't know anything's happening, but we need a kill to get us going, because otherwise you have like the first Prom Night where nothing happens for an entire hour.
Correct. And once again, we talked about as I said, you stole the freezer, but not half the cow that's inside. Discuss the whole thing makes zero sense.
It was bothering me. It was bothering me for a while. Who would do that? Like, who got a U-Haul and like the appliance like dolly to get a fucking used freezer? And if you're going to go through all that and then leave the meat, like you took the time to unpack all the meat out of the freezer and then only take the freezer. What is wrong with you?
Correct. Yeah. It's just the theft that makes zero sense. And I know this bothers you too, but like whenever someone fires a gun, what sound do they always have to have? Ricochets, right? No matter what, is you have the ricochet sound. Here in this movie, does it every time she fires the gun? There's a ricochet. No.
Wow, that's like The Foley artists, that's what they think gunshots are. So that's what they end up being.
Well, I'm saying like the Foley arts as a whole, the sound effects of this movie was atrocious.
Yes.
So as I
Correct.
said, that just like it's almost like someone's firing a gun. What should we have? Well, it needs to ricochet. Does it though? Does it? Like if a bullet hits the ground, unless there's a piece of metal, there's no ricochet sound. Period. It's just fire. Boom, you're done. But no, this Foley artist was bad. Like even like I'd say this like when he's talking on the phone, just everything just sounds so bad. It's I don't know. I can go on forever, but that's all I have. What are your low points?
A lot of them I've talked about already. The church avoiding real punishment. The who steals a freezer full of meat. Why would she answer the phone?
Yeah.
And again, like inside the limo, when they go, "Oh, let's toast to something," who do they toast to?
To Jamie Lee Curtis.
God, I hate when movies do that. Why do they have to like call up? Like this is somebody that exists in that franchise as a character, not as the actor.
Correct.
Why? Why do you have to? You have to like call back to shit. It drives me nuts. It's been happening for a long time, and it drives me insane every time it happens. When she was looking around in the wine like racks for stuff, she had a candle. Now her hair is big and puffy and fluffy, right? And she's holding the candle right up to her face. I'm like,
Yep.
Every time she moved, I was like, her hair's gonna catch on fire. Like it was like right there. It was a pretty long scene, and she kept doing it. I'm like, put the candle down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, the one bizarre scene where he murders the girl, scalps her, puts on her hair as a wig, and wears her robe. Yeah, and like gets full up cross-dressed, right?
Yep.
And then just to go like to scare somebody and then kill them. And then that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only time he's not dressed as a priest, and the only time he kills them, not screaming about them being a sinner.
Yep.
It's so bizarrely out of place. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm pretty sure that's sin. Like, if you're following the letter of the Bible the way that you are by murdering people, I'm pretty sure Leviticus still applies. and you should be killing yourself. Just bizarre. That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun stuff. All right, so our olives this week are going to be people on fire. I mean, I don't think there's a person on fire in the second one, the Prom Night reboot. I refuse to call it remix. It's not. So Salem, how many people on fire out of 10 do you give Prom Night for? Deliver us from evil.
I gotta say, I liked it better than the first one.
Really?
I also liked it better than the third one, but I don't know if it's as good as the second one. So I'm gonna go 5.
5. I had a hard time getting through this movie. It seemingly dragged on forever. And like I think I stopped watching after the freezer thing. I just like, you know what? I'm done watching this for today. And it picked it up. It took 2 days for me to watch this movie. I will give it 3 people on fire out of 10.
Yeah, I actually was able to watch this one. It actually had like a coherent plot that made sense. The pacing was decent. Like it's a serviceable movie. I wouldn't say it's good, but it's a serviceable movie. It's better than most of the franchise up to this point.
Yeah. But speaking of the rest of the franchise, bring us through Prom Night 2008.
All right, jumping out of order. So Prom Night 2008 starts off with a girl getting home from the movies. And then she goes home and she can't find her dad, can't find her brother, can't find her mom. Like, oh, that's weird. Where is everybody? Goes into her brother's room and her brother's just dead.
Yep.
Like, oh. So she hears like, scrambling, like somebody's like, where is she? Where is she? And so she, gets scared and hides under the bed. Somebody breaks in, knocks her mom to the floor, and she witnesses her mom being stabbed to death.
Yep.
And we find out right after that essentially, again, I thought we were going to get more to this story as this went along, but we don't.
Nope.
So essentially what happens is that is a teacher, and this girl is like, at this point in time in the story, I think she's like, what, 15?
Yeah, because it's 3
Yeah,
years.
and she's 18 at the end. So she's 15 now. So 15 years old, one of her teachers in school is obsessed with her.
Yeah.
To the point where he got fired from his job and also got like, restraining orders and multiple harassment charges and stuff like that, because he would not leave her alone. Even though, again, she's 15 and he's a man.
Yep.
A full-grown teacher. And basically boils over to the point where he comes there looking for her. She's not there, and he murders her entire family.
Yep.
Unknowingly murders her mother in front of her because he didn't know she was there. And then, of course, he gets arrested, gets put in jail. Unfortunately, he doesn't go to regular jail. He's convicted of, insanity. So he goes to an asylum. Now we're fast forwarding to the prom. Like literally 5 minutes into the movie.
This is prom night, yeah.
And we are already in our prom dress and already, on the way to the prom. Yep. So it's the girl, that obviously witnessed the murder in the beginning of the film, and then her boyfriend, and then they have two couple friends, two boy-girl couples, as are her best friends or whatever. So they all go to the prom together. Now it's all typical prom stuff. Until we find out Idris Elba is surprisingly in this movie. I was surprised, like shocked. I'm like, wow, Idris Elba's just in this movie. So he is a detective, right? And he gets a fax basically saying, oh, this guy escaped from the asylum. And he's like, oh shit. And then he finds that it happened 3 days ago. Yep. And they're just now telling him. And he's like, oh shit. So he's like, okay, well, where is she? Okay, she's at the prom. We got to send people there to this hotel. We got to watch out for her. We got to look for this guy. Like, but yeah, we don't know where he is. We have no reason to believe he's coming here, but we, possible that it is. So we got to like get on it. So again, she's just going through the prom. We do see this guy is in the hotel. He first kills a cleaning lady to get the master key, right? He then kills another like bellboy guy who kind of gets too suspicious.
Yep.
When he comes looking for the housekeeper. So then we have the two sets of couples, right? The one couple is like, I guess, perpetually fighting. Okay. So the girl goes up to the hotel room because she's crying and upset. And she gets murdered first. Yep. Interestingly enough, I saw her and I'm like, I know her from somewhere. Where do I know her from? She was Joy in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, a younger version of her. I was like, oh, interesting. So she gets murdered first. The boyfriend goes up there looking for her, like thinks she's locked in the bathroom, like trying to like talk her out of the bathroom. Of course, it's a murderer in the bathroom, so he gets murdered too.
Yep.
So couple one is down.
Yep.
Couple two, again, another thing I don't understand. We'll talk about later. But like they decide, we have a few minutes before they announce the prom queen and prom king. Let's go up to the room and bone.
Yep.
So they go up there to bone, and then the one girl sees the teacher guy on her way up, and she's like, I know that guy from somewhere. And like as they're about to bone, she's like, oh shit, I remembered it. Like that's the teacher. Like we gotta warn the girl. So she goes to warn her and then gets assaulted by the guy. But after she gets like out of the room, so her date does not know this is happening.
Yeah.
So she gets chased down the stairs, and she ends up on, of course, a level under construction, because every horror movie, if it's in a building and locked into a building, there's always one that's under construction.
They need an entry point. Yeah.
So long stalking, and then eventually she gets killed. The guy goes downstairs. He's like, I can't find her anywhere. She's not in the room. She's not down here. Like, what's going on? So he basically spends the rest of the film wandering around, wondering where she is.
And surprisingly doesn't die.
Yeah. And he doesn't die. And like, again, it's like a very sad ending for him, where he's at the end going like, oh man. It's sad. So anyway, so we have the original girl and then her boyfriend. And so, she goes up to the room. Of course, there's long fucking chase sequence of this guy trying to get her and her running into rooms and adjoining rooms and blah, 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 all over the place. She ends up getting away. She gets out the front door. The detective finds her. They send her home with, cops watching the door and everything. And then the guy ends up sneaking out of the hotel by dressing as the bellboy that he killed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes home. She's cuddling up on the bed with her boyfriend, like crying about obviously trauma, right? Because it's happening again, and all her friends are dead except for two of them, her boyfriend and her best friend's date, essentially.
But she doesn't know her. But she doesn't know her. One of her good friends is dead, though.
Well, they're assuming.
Yeah.
But, again, they're all assuming because they know that the other couple is dead because they found their bodies in the room. And they're assuming that she's dead because they can't find her.
Mm-hmm.
So again, murder. So she basically, gets up to take her meds or whatever, and then goes back to the bed like, oh, how come you're not moving? Like, what's going on, boyfriend? And then he's dead.
Yep.
Like his throat is just slashed, kind of fighting around with the dude in the room a little bit. Idris Elba, of course, figures out, oh, he did escape. I got to go get to the place. He calls the dude, like, go in and check it out. He gets there. The guy is still in the car. He's like, I told you to go check it out. Of course, he's dead too. So Idris Elba gets into the house and he gets there just in time to shoot the evil teacher before he kills her.
Yep.
So essentially, she is the only survivor except for her friend's date, who's just depressed that his date is dead.
Yeah.
And that's it. Her parents, her
aunt
and uncle do survive, but I was for sure thought they were going to die.
Oh, that to be found dead? Yeah.
There was one hilarious point at the end though. Like there's like 6 shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a standard like suburban home. 6 gunshots happen. It takes the aunt and uncle like a full minute to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're in the room down the hall and it takes them a full minute to react to fucking gunshots in their own house. Bizarre. But yeah, that's the end.
This is your first time watching this one too, right?
Yes.
Wow. Never seen any of the entire Prom Night franchise.
Again, if I watch movies in a franchise, it's like I'll watch the first one and then I'll watch them until I get tired of them and then I don't want to watch them anymore. Which is almost the end of almost every franchise. If it goes on for long enough, it gets bad and I just stop watching it. But Prom Night is a movie that I never really wanted to watch. Like Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, but like and everybody's like, oh, it's great. But I heard a lot of mixed stuff about it and I'm just like, it wasn't a movie that I ever wanted to watch. And so if I've never watched the first one, I never bothered with all the rest of them.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think I've ever watched these in a row like this. I've seen this Prom Night a few times. And it's amazing that, like I said, it's not a remake. And that's astounding to me. And it's like not even callbacks. And it's nice to get away from 1957 prom.
Well, it's okay. The title is accurate for this movie.
Yes.
Right? It is. The entire film takes place, almost the entire film takes place on Prom Night.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first Prom Night, like, again, we have a full fluff hour of no prom.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have, 10 minutes of choreographed disco dancing. Yeah. And then we have like 10 minutes of actual prom. That's it. That's, Prom Night, the film, that's what it is. So this one, I think, more accurately describes the film.
Yeah. And like I said, it's kind of like, my first thought and rewatch is like, this is how you make a Prom Night movie. It really is.
Right.
It really is. So I'll go first with my highlights. Like I said, it's not just a remake. It's like legit its own thing. No characters are sharing names, nothing of it. So it's like we always talk about, don't remake good movies, remake shitty ones.
Right. As you should be doing, right? Because like there's nothing held on to like the original Prom Night. For some reason, a lot of people say it's good. It, in my opinion, not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, ripe for remaking.
Yes.
So many movies that are like that, and yet they keep remaking movies that are like already good.
Mm-hmm. Not only did we get Johnny Cage from the original Mortal Kombat, which, I love that movie. He's the uncle.
I'm sorry.
It's the only other movie I know him from is Prom Night and Mortal Kombat. But the cast overall, like pretty solid cast. You know, we have the guy that, you know, unfortunately you know, killed himself, that was in, you know, the It as the adult of the Stanley no, he played Richie as the adult, right? The other cop. Not Richie. But he was in the It chapter 2, you know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
Okay. But yeah, he's like I said, he's in this Idris Elba. Like, this is probably like the first thing I ever saw Idris in, if I recall correctly, was this movie. Like I said,
I honestly don't remember the first thing I saw him in.
So I said, you know, cast overall pretty good. Like Brittany Snow was in this. As I said before, it actually all pretty much takes place, other than like, you know, 5 minutes, on Prom Night. It holds up to its title, and you know, it's, I think, holds up surprisingly well now, 18 years later, and still I think a solid entry of a film. Those are my highlights. How about yours?
Yeah, Idris Elba is got, I think, out of place in this movie, but he does well. He doesn't outact everybody. Like
No.
you know, he's a decent spot in this movie. Seeing Joy was fun. And again, we got Ming-Na Wen in a very small role as the psychiatrist.
Yep.
Which is, I was like, oh wow, if I would have seen this back then, it would have been the first thing I saw her in. But they're around now. I love when movies do this, because it's like, I know that somebody spent a lot of time making those crazy stalker journals.
Yeah.
That guy had. He had like 7 version journals with like the weird pictures with the cutout eyes and like this tiny small weird print all over all these fucking journals, and they showed multiple pictures of it. So some prop guy spent a lot of time making creepy stalker notebooks for this dude, and they like show it in like a kind of like a just a one-off couple of shots, and then that's it.
Yep.
Like, it just amazes me like how much time and energy went into something like that, and then it only gets a little tiny shot and then done. But that was like somebody's life in there. But anyway, it looked cool. Again, we wasted 0 time getting to the prom. Correct. In this movie. Like, we have like the beginning that kind of introduces like who the bad guy is, and then like we have maybe 5 minutes of film before we get to prom. Like 5 minutes like talking about the prom, and then in the dress, in the limo, gone. Like, it was and there's a lot of death in this movie. Yes. Like, just about everybody dies. Like, it is a pretty bleak movie. Like, it is not like a happy end, not really a good ending. Like, yeah, she survives, but like everyone else is dead.
Correct. Yeah.
I think it's kind of darker than you would think like a remake of this level would be, especially in 2008.
Right.
That's all I got for high points. So we go to my low points.
Yep.
Fucking red carpet at a prom. Like, do they really do that shit? Like,
I hope not.
Wow. It's like, what is that? How much money did that waste? Anyway, so it happened. Multiple people do this where they're like, oh, okay, you know, the DJ is going to take a 15-minute break, and as soon as he comes back, we're doing the prom king and prom queen announcement. Okay. So like, all the like nominees for prom king and prom queen are like, yeah, well, let's go back to the room. Yeah. What? what do you mean? You have maybe 15 minutes. Like, you're going to be able to go up to the room to get something and come back, and then your 15 minutes is up. Like, what are you going to go up and bone like for 30 seconds and somehow make it back in time? Like, no. But there's like, not only is the one girl and her date do that, but also the other people do that. Like, let's go up to the room. And you know, why? Why can't you just wait until after the announcement? I don't understand why you need to go to the room right now. It's so bizarre. And multiple people do it, and it's just a bizarre thing. She's walking through the hotel level that's under construction, and there's random fucking pigeons everywhere.
Yeah.
like the windows aren't open. It's under construction. It's not a derelict building. Like, why is there fucking birds in there?
Birds are everywhere, man. Come on.
Sure, a bird, but there's like a flock of pigeons in there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck? Idris Elba goes, "Oh shit, the guy's in here. Seal all the doors," and then he pulls the fire alarm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just created a fire hazard. Like, these people, if there was actually a fire, all these people would be dead.
Yep.
And again, like, I was expecting a twist for this movie. There's not. There's no twist at all. It is exactly the way you think it's gonna go. I was waiting for like the ending to find out that like they actually did have like a love affair, right? I mean, obviously, I think he obviously took it too far because she was like in fucking therapy and shit, right? But like, I think the fun twist would be that like they were in a relationship and then she, you know, broke it off for whatever reason and he like couldn't deal with it.
Right.
Like that I think would have made it a little bit more fun to get that kind of twist at the end. But instead we get nothing. No, he's just crazy. And needs to be put down. That's it, done. But I think a little bit of a twist would have been fun. But yeah, there's like all the movies try to have a little bit of a twist, and this one has zero.
Correct.
That's all I got.
Yeah. So this is a PG-13 horror movie. Yes, a lot of people die, but because it's PG-13, he has no blood to clean up. Like, he stabbed a lot of people. Like, oh, she was right behind the door, and he closes opens the door in the bathroom, and he goes in there, and there's not a drop of blood anywhere. Like, he's moving around people like they have no blood on them or in them. Like, it's barely like we have blood coming from the vent in the ceiling. Why is there blood in the vent in the ceiling? That's not weird, but it's just
there's a body up there.
Yeah, but like that's as much blood as they're able to throw into this PG-13 movie.
I mean, the people had like blood on the stab wounds. They had blood all over their neck.
Yeah, but not like on the floor. He kills a lot of people for not leaving bloody trail everywhere.
You can have blood in PG-13.
Yeah, but not. I don't know. But I just found it weird that he's able to like just clean it up so well. I don't think he really cared that much about getting caught in the
horror movie. So all these movies are.
How many beds would you say was in that hotel room? One?
With their hotel room?
Yeah.
It was a joined room. There's two rooms.
Okay.
But yeah, 2 beds.
Right. For 6 people.
Well, again, we don't see the whole thing. They did say a suite. A suite usually means at least 2. So maybe they had a suite with an adjoining room. So maybe the suite had 2. I don't know the situation. I'm assuming they all had their own bed. I don't think one of them. Well,
because I was saying, because they make the comments like, "Oh, I'm not going to sleep on that bed." Were you going to begin with? I don't know. Like,
they gotta,
yeah,
you gotta tease people for boning. That's the way children work.
Yeah. And I only went to one prom, and like the DJ talked an awful lot for being a DJ at the prom. Like other announcements, like giving shout-outs on that stuff, it just felt weird to me. And they said they spent like $100,000 on this prom. Like they had to redo this room for this hotel. Like, I don't think the hotel would let you do all that crazy work they thought that she said they did.
No, they
into their main room. Like, here's the dance floor. You don't get to bring in all this other crap.
No, they didn't. It's kids and rumors. You know how that works.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been to a prom. I've never been to a school dance. So the only like exposure to school dances I have is like horror movies, because like school dances occur a lot in horror movies. Well, also a lot of like 80s movies. There's a lot of like prom and dances. So that's really the only exposure. So I just assume that all those are true.
No, no, I don't think so.
That's how I think about it. That's how it really is.
Yeah. Like you said, the aunt and uncle were like, have to be partially deaf, because like she's even screaming very loudly at things, and they still didn't know things were going on.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like screaming and thumping and like, fucking 6 fucking gunshots, and it still takes them a full minute to go, what's going on? Like, what were you fucking doing?
Yeah.
Were you in like a sensory deprivation tank in there?
Maybe they took some some meds to go to sleep. Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about all I got. So I'll go first for Prom Night 2008. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say this is probably the best one of the franchise.
No, it's not. Probably it is.
So I will give it 7.5 people on fire out of 10. How about you?
It's not that good.
I'm saying I'm doing this in context of the franchise.
Well, again, my 7 is I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to watch it again. Is it good? Would I recommend other people to watch it? Sure. I would recommend people I don't know if I want to tell them to watch all the rest of the 4 of them because it might be this one's really good after watching the other 4. But no, I think overall it's a pretty good movie. Again, not one that I want to own, not one that I watch again, but I think it's a solid movie. It's a lot bleaker than I thought it would be, especially for 2008. It's pretty dark for a 2008 horror movie, but I thought it was pretty good. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
6.5. Yeah, I said because I gave the first one, a 6, so I had to go, that much higher for it. All right, now we're gonna revert back to the world of Carrie White and the legacy that apparently her father carries with him.
And they never mention his name or show a picture, anything.
Nope.
It's just oh, he is the same dad as Carrie White. That's it. That's how they describe him.
Yes.
So bizarre.
Yeah, so The Rage, Carrie 2, which, like I said, didn't need to add Carrie 2 to it.
How else are you going to know it's a sequel to Carrie?
I guess, sure. But yeah, essentially we meet this woman who's just painting everything in their house red, and she's a daughter, Rachel, and they're like, yeah, something's weird. She might have the gift, but yeah, mother's locked up. Cool. 10 years later, now we have Rachel, who's they always said that they say that she's an outcast. I'd venture to say she had way more friends than Carrie White did.
Right. Well, okay. Did the dad just have a thing for literally insane women?
Religious women? I think so.
Insane / religious women, because they were both like that. They were both mentally unstable and very religious.
Yes.
So I don't know where he was meeting these women at, but that seems to be the case.
I mean, maybe he's just trying to grow his army of telekinetic, pyrokinetic children. We don't know.
Telekinetic.
But yeah, essentially, because she is the half sister of Carrie White.
Right.
25 years later. They say 20. They say 20 in this movie for some reason.
Right. So the dad is still in the area.
Yeah.
And still having kids.
Uh-huh.
For how long? How many other Carries are out there?
Right.
We should make a Carrie 3 where it's an army of telekinetic children.
I think that's the whole idea for the Carrie TV show that never happened.
Well, no, the Carrie TV show doesn't happen after Carrie 2.
I know.
It happens after their own remake.
Yeah. I don't disagree. But yeah, so essentially we're introduced to Carrie, her friend, who is played by Mina, however you say her last name, from
Suvari.
Pie. And
I call her 8-head.
And we also have, Eddie K. Thomas from American Pie in this movie too. But the long story short is the football team is a bunch of assholes.
One of the kids from Home Improvement is
the oldest son from Home Improvement is one of the assholes. And these football players have the scorebook of literally trying to sleep with women and have different scores and try to have the highest score. Oh, that one's fat, which she was not in the slightest. But she was supposed to, Mina was slept with the oldest son from Home Improvement, and he's like, I don't like this. You're just a number. And then she kills herself, which kind of sets off Rachel's powers again, to the point where her guidance counselor, right? Her guidance counselor is Sue Snell, the only survivor from Carrie, the original one,
right?
With the same actress coming back. Yeah,
the same actress and everything.
Yeah. Yes. So it's actually a sequel, which is surprising. with a good tie to it. And we have lots of archival footage of Carrie White. She describes what's going on there, but she's trying to get these football players for statutory rape because like they're 18, these other people are 16. They're like, yeah, no, you're not going to pin this football team because we're a football town, right?
Every small town's a fucking football town.
They said Rachel's living with foster parents. She has her dog Walter, and after the last escapade, gets hit by a truck full of pigs, which is probably just a callback to the pig's
graphically
blood,
hit,
and survives. Like
shocking. I was shocked
that he got run over by a truck.
I was shocked that he survived.
Yeah. Yeah. So all this is going on there, and they're like, she is kind of getting infatuated with one of the football guys that's there, who is the main guys from Mallrats' twin brother. And there's, like I said, this is kind of going on there, and like the guys are like, hey, she's ratted us out because she developed pictures, we have to get them back. And they start like Ray almost like seemingly kill Rachel at her house. Like they are harassing her, like they're gonna brass knuckles and fight her and all this stuff just because they're alpha males. Anyway, all this is going there. She's like, no, I don't want to do this. She goes and eventually meets up with this guy. They bone, while with unbeknownst to both of them, they're recording it just for a later thing because we have to have the video player coming back. All while this is going on, Sue's like, I think you have powers. We find out, and we find all this backstory about your dad. Let me go get your mom from the mental institute. You have to believe me. This is not good. Anyway, instead of, there's like no prom in this, which is shocking. And they find out like, oh, this boy is doing all this stuff. They they have their football game. They all shave their hair except for him. He has to go back, and she gets invited to like the after game party for their first seasonal game. And they show her the book with everything. They put them boning on. I don't know what you would call those, like foldable TVs. Jumbotron.
Well, it's a projection TV.
Yeah.
This is 1999, so they have the big old projection TVs.
Yeah. So anyway, she finds all this going on here, and then she carries out. She has like a tattoo that then grows like like a heart-shaped rose that grows vines everywhere, and she starts killing people. Like glass explodes, decapitates people, and just wreaking havoc. Fires are starting. Sue Snell's there to try to help with her mom, and surprisingly, Sue gets killed. Inadvertently, but killed, right? Through like a harpoon gun or something through.
No, it was a fire poker.
The
harpoon guns don't come until later.
And so all this going on there, they try to figure out what's going on. Like, oh man, you gotta stop her. It's her. And they're like, my dad's keep these locked up, and it's harpoon guns he has locked up. So let's get these and go after Rachel. They kind of confront her. She kills one girl that's kind of in on it, like exploiting her glasses. She dies. She castrates the guy from Home Improvement. He falls. Another guy that's kind of like the leader, essentially just drowns underwater. And then her pseudo boyfriend shows up there. He's like, no, you gotta stop this. She saves him from being killed. She first thought like he was part of it, but no, he was actually innocent. And she kind of just goes down with it, and he lives. And we get cut back to like a year later. He has Walter, the dog that survived all that stuff, and he has visions of Rachel coming back, but it turns out just to be a dream, and she's dead. all these telekinetic people just die from their own powers in the Carrie franchise.
Well, she was like pretty dead.
Mm-hmm.
She was burnt.
Yeah.
She was like burnt and exploded.
Yeah. So that's about it. So like I said, it's actual sequel, and I just looked it up. They want Sissy Spacek to come back as like a ghost version of her. She's like, no, just use archives. Like, oh, okay. That's what they did.
Well, at least they got permission to do that.
Correct, because you see like all the main people as archives. So yeah. I also mentioned when she's using her powers, she sees everything in like black and white for some reason.
Yeah, and then whenever anything bad happens, it's like that. They're all gonna laugh at you. Like it repeats like I don't know 100 times in the movie.
More so than Adam Sandler's skit.
Right.
Man, I had not watched this movie probably since right about when it came out. I don't know about you.
I've never seen it.
You never seen it? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I was watching it with the wife. She's like, I love that movie. I'm like, oh. I said, I probably only watched it twice now, but yeah, why don't you go first with your highlights?
Yeah, so it was fun that Sue Snell actually came back. That was interesting. There's a story element about film cameras, which is interesting. This is like 99. This is like the final death rattle of film cameras in 99. Still fun though. The asylum that her mom was locked in was Arkham Asylum. That was funny. Now the dad had a gun cabinet with all the guns locked up, but all the guns were spear guns
and flare guns.
Right. Like,
yep.
Who I've never even heard of anyone having a like spear gun collection. I've never even seen one in real life, but like I understand why some people that want to be prepared for everything might have one. You know, if they want to shoot people underwater. But like a collection of them,
yeah,
bizarre. I don't know. I thought the glasses exploding and then the castration shot of the spear gun was pretty fun. The rest of the effects I think are pretty generic-ish.
They are.
And Walter was awesome.
Of course. Good old Basset Hound.
Yeah. You don't see Basset Hounds too often in movies, but he was great.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Oh yeah, Walter, like I said, awesome. I wish they didn't run him over, but I'm glad he lived.
Well, that's on the other side. We got more on the other side.
Like I said, they brought Sue back and the actress back, which I thought was good. That's kind of how you do, like, this is close to like almost the first Legacy sequel that I can recall. Like, how long does it take for a Legacy sequel to be a Legacy sequel, do you think?
I would say at least 20 years.
Okay, so I mean, this is probably close to the first one, I think, to actually bring a character back, which I didn't ever thought about until, let's face it, 2018.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't really think about it, but yeah, I mean, you're probably right, because I mean, if horror slashers didn't really come into being until the late 70s. So yeah, the late 90s would have been the first time we could have had what I would consider a Legacy sequel.
Right. So but everything was already running as a franchise at that point in time. So yeah.
Right.
So I don't consider H2O a Legacy sequel because they just had one 2 years before that.
Yeah, no, it was continue. I mean, yeah, they the Halloween, timeline jumps around and shit all the time, but but they were still making movies in the franchise, whereas like Carrie had a movie in 76.
Yep.
And then nothing until 99.
Yeah.
Because the first remake wasn't until 2000s? Yeah.
02, yeah.
So it's like this Legacy sequel came out before the remake came out. So
yeah, I like that. And I said, and Sue, like I said, talked about the idea of it being like, she called it a disease. It's something that the father passes on, which, she was that traumatized by it for the thing that she was too young to ever remember. That she's like did some heavy research, and I feel like this also kind of the plot of Firestarter. Wasn't only the men that passed it on as well? Do you recall from Firestarter that was the case?
I don't remember.
So it's just interesting they brought it back that like, oh no, it's not like something the mother had, it's like something the dad has. Like, so does the dad have this power? He might.
Maybe that's why nobody can find him.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all I got for my highlights, all my low points. Of course, jocks in that book, they kind of deserved it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's horrible. I mean, that's just a really, really shitty thing. And that dude was like, I think that guy actually really liked Mina Suvari.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, we got it on. And like, it seemed like they were happy in that picture.
Yeah.
Like she was happy. She was like, oh, I'm going to introduce you to him at lunch. Like, again, he was at least keeping it going with her. And then it wasn't until like he even put her name on the list to like try to claim points for her. And then later on, when the dudes are all like, oh, she's only worth like 4 points because she's ugly or whatever. And so then he was like, oh shit, I boned an ugly chick. Like, I'm with an ugly girl. Like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And so then he just like backed down because of like terrible, shitty peer pressure. So yeah, they kind of all deserve it. That dude especially. And the ringleader guy and that dude. The other guys were just meatheads.
Yeah. I said, and obviously a truck, run over poor Walter.
Right.
But like I said, he's a solid basset hound, so he lives. I didn't care for the black and white power thing. I don't think it made sense.
It didn't add anything.
No.
And it's not like it's like it was only the powers that it gets used by. It was like whenever there was anything like, interesting or weird, they did that shot. It wasn't like only when the powers were existing. I don't know. They didn't use it right.
No.
Like if they were going to do it, there was a way to do it and they failed.
Right. And I said, of course, Sue just getting fire poked her through the head too. Sucked for her. She was actually trying to help.
Yeah.
Like I said,
that's how it's supposed to go. When you have legacy characters come back, they're supposed to die like before they can do anything.
Unless you're Halloween.
Well, yeah.
And he said the special effects, like, I don't think they really explained the tattoo and why the tattoo grows. I don't know. So it just didn't make any sense. Yeah, and I don't know. Like I said, and she just did not feel like an outcast to me. Like Sissy Spacek seemed like an outcast as Carrie White. She
had zero friends.
Yeah,
like Carrie White had zero friends. Like one, she like nobody liked her, and two, like I don't think she was allowed to have friends.
Correct.
They're like so like there was no way for her to have friends. The only friend she had was her mom, which is messed up because she was not her friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this one, they had best buds. And, like there was other people that they were talking to and shit. They were just like
that know her.
Yeah, they were just like in like a clique that was not the ultra popular clique. Like, right. Oh no.
Yeah, AKA what I was in high school.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's most of us were because there's very few people in the super cool clique or whatever, right? But it's like, yeah, the super cool clique is like what 10 people in a class of what, like 200,
right?
So the vast majority of people in school are outcasts, apparently. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Like I said, she seemed well adjusted and she seemed like a normal teenager.
Yeah, compared to like the living situation she was in and how fucked up her family situation was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just she was not a sellable outcast.
No.
That's what I have. How about you?
Man, that very late 90s 00 overload for fashion and and hair and the music, man. It was like, just stop. I really hated this time period. It's not good. Anyway, the main girl, it looks like she has no eyebrows. And it's weird. And it's very off-putting. Like every scene she's in is like, did she shave her eyebrows? No, they're there. They're just very, very faint, but it's weird because her hair is very, very dark and her eyes are very, very bright. And then there's just like very, very thin eyebrows to where like if you're not on a close-up on her face, it looks like they're not there.
Yeah.
It's very weird and off-putting. Like I feel like it's like powder. But it's like, yeah, you're like every time it's like, what? Like, and then it's like, oh, okay, it's just her. Yeah. It's like every time it's like, what is up with that? And then I don't know, Mina Suvari and her giant forehead just never does it for me. I don't get it. And it's funny that Mina Suvari is probably one of the bigger names in the movie, and she's only in it for like 5 minutes.
Yep.
The sound whenever she uses her power is like this goofy electric shock sound. It just doesn't fit. Like it's not electricity. Why is it making electricity sounds? Stop. Poor Walter in the pig truck. I felt bad. I thought for sure he was going to be dead. Yeah. For sure he was going to die at some point. And then like later on, again, because like, they're like, come back and see him at 8 tomorrow. And then there's like days go by. I'm like, you're not going to check out fucking Walter? Where's Walter? Like, I want to know. And then like, days later, like Walter is like in a cast with a cone on her bed. I'm like, okay, at least Walter is like, okay. And he's laying on a bed.
Yeah.
But I was more invested in Walter than I was in the story. I don't know, flashbacks. I don't like flashbacks. They weren't like egregious. There wasn't that many of them, but it's like I just don't like them. Like, you can describe your movie without using flashbacks. Again, I agree with you about the black and white scenes. They just weren't used right. They didn't add anything. They just took away.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, the sex game, rapist mentality. We already talked about how terrible these people were. Again, yeah, the tattoo telekinesis. I don't get it. Like, the effects of it look like shit.
Yep.
Like, you could tell they just like colored it on her with like henna. It's like, what's the point? Like, tattoos don't look like that. That's what they look like the day you get them. Like, Correct. They're never that dark. Like, it was just very stupid looking. And it's like, whenever, I don't know if people don't understand like telekinesis or like mind powers, like what they do, they always give them extra powers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like in the Carrie movies, it's like, oh, she's telekinetic, but now she can burn things closed with her mind. Like, no, that's pyrokinesis. It's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, it's like they couldn't make up her mind as like what she could do with her mind powers, so they just let her do a whole bunch of shit. Like, one is like grow her tattoo.
Yep.
Absolutely no reason for that.
No.
Other than like showing like, oh, look, she's changed in evil and she grew her tattoo. Wow. Okay. And then she can somehow, one, control the VCR with her mind.
Mm-hmm.
To like stop, rewind, replay, stuff like that with her mind. But she could also zoom in with a 1999 projection television. You cannot zoom in, and she was zooming in. So I don't know what power that is, but it is not telekinesis. But she was doing that. But there's a bunch of like lame kills. Like, she was like shooting CDs and people were like dying from it. Like the only guy allowed to kill people with CDs is the Cenobite from
number
Hellraiser
3.
3.
Yeah.
That's the only guy that's allowed to kill people with CDs because it's ridiculous and funny. Like, you can't just shoot CDs out and kill people. It's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was, again, most of the effects were pretty lame. Again, there was just that one, you know, her glasses explode and then you're like, ow, that would hurt. And then she just turns and just shoots him right in the dick with the harpoon gun. It's hilarious.
And she dies from that too.
Oh, she dies, and so does he. In real life, you would not just die.
Nope.
I mean, yes, it would be very painful and probably very, mentally distressing being castrated with a harpoon gun, but he wouldn't die immediately.
Correct.
But I mean, maybe he just died in the fire. We don't know.
That's possible.
But yeah, that's really all I got.
All right. So how many people on fire do you give The Raid Carrie 2 from 1999?
I don't, it's not good. It's not like, it's not terrible. I mean, I don't hate it. I'm going to give it a 4.75.
Yeah. I'm trying to look back at what I gave. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Carrie 2002, we rated very poorly. Carrie 2013 rated very poorly. It's for like I said, really thinking about this, the first Legacy sequel, not bad for a Legacy sequel. Yeah.
No, I said the movie's not like terrible. Like, I don't hate myself for watching it. It's just not very good.
Yeah. I liked it a little bit better, so I will give it 6 people on fire out of 10. It has its place, and it's the second best Carrie film.
That's not saying all that.
No, it's not. So, all right. Anything else before we wrap up? Really, this month.
Well, that's the whole theme. That's it. Prom is over.
Yeah. All right. Well, join us next week as we celebrate Pride Month with a really big corner of the horror community. And these movies aren't necessarily direct Pride examples, but they are films in the community that the communities identify with. For here, it's, we dive into The Hunger, which I don't know, what was it, 1980 something, I believe, or is it a newer one?
I don't know.
So yeah, The Hunger, Dracula's Daughter, which is definitely early, and Cat People, I believe we're looking at the 1992 one.
Yeah, I think that's the only one.
Yeah. So remember, we watch bad movies, so you don't have to. And this has been Graveyard saying, have you checked on the children?
This is Salem saying, long live the new...